Is your team ready to soar to new heights? At CTL Africa Leadership, we specialize in transforming potential into performance. Whether it's mastering winning with people, enhancing emotional intelligence, decoding human behavior, or strengthening team leadership, we've got you covered. Dive into personal leadership and elevate your corporate governance standards. Our tailor-made programs are designed to unlock your team's full potential. Don't settle for ordinary. Be extraordinary. Book a discovery call with CTL Africa today, and let's design a development program that transforms your team. Visit our website www.ctlafricaleadership.com. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to the Leadership Platform powered by CTL Africa Leadership. You are warmly welcome. We're so excited to have you. And like we say, this is our favorite moment of the week. And this is for you. So thank you for jumping on board. I'll just encourage you to share the link, share the broadcast with your friends, your colleagues on all social media platforms. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Joy Bonsushmut. I'll be your host for today and coming live to you from Accra, Ghana. So I want to know where you are joining from. Just put it in the comments section and we'll be happy to announce you to the world. If you saw the flyer this week, you know that today is not going to be just another learning experience. It's going to be an extraordinary learning experience for you. We're going to be diving into leadership and then leadership attitudes. Wow. So let me know what your expectations are when you saw this event being advertised and you thought, I've got to be part of this. The team is so excited to bring you this session week after week. Today is our 182nd episode. Over 4 years, we've been bringing you the leadership platform to enrich our continent with leadership learning nuggets to help us build as leaders. When the leader grows, everyone benefits. And today we're going to be talking about attitudes. All right, so I'd love to see your comments. I'd love to see where you are joining from. And I want to welcome William. Welcome William from Tema. I want to welcome Sarah Jessie joining us from Geneva, and then Isaac Ayikukwashi from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Welcome everyone. For those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, please subscribe to our channel so that anytime we go live, you get the prompt. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. But before we do, just a few quick announcements. Some exciting things are happening at CTL Africa Leadership, and I just want to bring you a sneak peek. For those of you who didn't know that this month, our book for the month is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We have been reading together, and that's the book on your screen. It's a powerful book about money, personal finance, and it's going to really help you challenge your finance attitude, your personal habits, and your relationship towards money. I'm having a very good time reading this book again. We're going to come to you next week with a review of this book. So if you haven't yet started, please grab your copy over the course of the week and join us to read. We're going to also talk about Lift to Lead 2024 in much detail. But if you haven't yet secured your seat, please do not waste any more time. Honestly, it's going to be a life-changing experience. We've had some sneak peek into the topics, and it's going to be life-changing. That's all I can say. So please just secure your seats at lifttoleadghana.com, www.lifttoleadghana.com. and you will be glad. As a matter of fact, you thank me you came. All right. So today we're going to have our own Uncle Sam, who is going to be facilitating today's session, and we're talking about leadership and attitude. All right. So I'm going to be bringing him up on stage so that we can dive into it. Share your expectations in the comment section, and share your comments as we go through the presentation, and then we'll be able to take it up during the break and after the presentation. All right, so welcome to your platform. Uncle Sam,
Hey,
you're
Joy.
welcome.
Thank you. Great work, Joy.
Oh,
You and the team are doing great.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much
Thank you.
for all the good work.
Yes,
Well,
yes. Today
good.
we're going to be enjoying some good nuggets from you, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But before we get into it, I was just thinking about, sometimes you can learn a lot from a person by their experiences, by the things they have been through. So I just wanted to ask you before we start the show, maybe share with me two moments in your entire 30 plus years of working as a corporate leader, a senior leader. You've been in the boardroom practically your whole life as an executive. What has been your most challenging experience as a leader? And what has been maybe the fondest memory you'd have as a leader? Those two experiences, I think we'd love to hear it.
Wow. Joy, thank you. That's a difficult one. But it would seem to me that the most challenging is also for me the fondest. Um, there are several moments in my life as a leader, but one that I just come off the top of my mind is the moment where you know we at EcoBank, I was group general counsel. I led a project to list the EcoBank group on three stock exchanges. It was historic. I mean, simultaneous
Wow.
listing on Ghana, Nigeria, and the Cote d'Ivoire stock exchanges. It was fantastic, and we were all very joyous and great achievement because it has never been done. Each people list, but they
Hmm.
will list in one exchange and list and move to the other after some time. This time we did three simultaneous listings. It was a great experience.
Wow.
But soon after the listing of the company on the stock exchange, we saw some unusual movements, and we found that some Russian company was trying to take over the bank that has been built by West Africans over years, and we prided ourselves with, this is a West African bank. We keep the head office
Yeah.
black and things like that. And this was being taken over. And I tell you, we had to fight. And it was not a small fight. It was a big challenge. And at the same time, when I look back and I look at EcoBank where it's gotten to, I just I just feel proud that we fought to save the bank
Mm.
for Africa. And today the bank is in 36 African countries. It's interesting, and if we don't have time to go into all those details, but the same experience that I'm proud of, is the most challenging because it then brought us into, sharp focus with the thinking, the mindset of us Africans when we're
Mm.
fighting regulators, and how regulators and some other people may have taken money from the Russians, and we're fighting to give the institution to the Russians. And I find that we see that a lot in Africa where our leaders would give value access to foreigners and fight their own people. So if you
Yeah.
ask me, the same
Yeah.
event, I'm proud
Mm.
we were successful, but there again, it was very challenging in terms of how we think, which is
Yeah.
about live to live, and which is why at Live to Lead this year, we are going to focus on transformation, and we're going to focus on change minds and change lives. So thank you so much
Wow.
for that question.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, what your response to this question reminded me of this quote. I don't actually know who said it, but it says, if you cannot stand for something, if you cannot stand for something, you will fall for anything. And this is, your words in action. You believe in Africa, so you fight for Africa. You believe in something, you stood for it. You could have made a lot of money if you had joined those who were taking, money.
Oh,
But I
yes,
believe that
certainly.
this is the essence. Yeah, this is the essence of leadership. A lot of people have enriched themselves because, they could benefit personally. They could have selfishly benefited, but they stood for something. And I believe that today, all the millions of people, the thousands of people who have jobs at EcoBank have you to thank for. All right, so we're going to get straight into it. Please continue to introduce yourself in the chat and we would acknowledge your presence. All right, Uncle Sam, the stage is yours.
Thank you so very much, Joy. And let me see how we proceed from here. Good. So we we're going to talk about attitude, and let me start. And Joy launched us into the discussion right away with that discussion, and let's take it from there. We're going to talk about live to lead, just to bring us into the subject. So Joy has talked about live to lead coming up. I just want to emphasize that. Now, Joy was asking me some of my moments in leadership, and I remember when we started live to lead in Ghana, when I discussed with some of my colleagues that we want to start up live to lead, some people said, no, this one, that Sam, in Ghana, people are not so much interested in this and that, you know. So myself and just one lady, Akosia, just decided, sitting on top of some church building somewhere in Circle, put the whole of the thing together. And at the College of Physicians and Surgeons, the first episode, we had about close to 600 people in the room. And that was exciting. Sometimes people will tell you things are not possible, but they haven't done it before. We have been hosting Live to Lead consistently in this country. This will be our 8th year. And I just want to encourage you to register, bring your teams. And we've had a peek into some of the speakers and what they're going to share, and it's going to be wonderful. You don't want to miss the themes that are coming. The mindset, the abundance mindset, the challenge of energy, passion, and things about leadership that you want to learn. So I just want to once again invite all of you to move, go to our website and go through the process to register and pay for your ticket. You don't want to miss out on it. The date is October 4th, and we want you to book it the whole day, Friday, at the UPS auditorium. Make a date and come with us. All right. So this evening, we are talking about attitude, the leader's advantage. And my whole life, I have a very positive attitude to life. And when I remember when I was in the law school, I would walk from Osu to Makola because I didn't have money. But I would go to school and excited. People felt that, I was some dadaba or something because of the way I carried myself. In fact, sometimes some of my lady mates will remember, if they are on the call, sometimes I'll go and take their purse and I will run away with it and try to pick some money from it just to have to go on for lunch. But that didn't put me down. I just pushed. Right? And I generally am an optimistic and a positive attitude person. But as I studied leadership and I begin to understand a bit more, I see the power in positive attitude that bring results to leaders. Now, I want Joy, if you can, Joy, to share a video that when we shared this flyers, one of my friends, when he saw the topic, he sent me a link to a LinkedIn post and says, right, indeed, positive attitude gets results. He says, look at how the positive attitude of a doctor saved a child who was declared dead. Now, I want us to watch that minute video, and then it will take us into the lesson that we are trying to, 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 to learn this evening. Joy, if you can get that video for me, that would be great. Thank you so very much. Now, this video, when I saw it yesterday, when my friend sent it to me, just brought into focus some of the things I want us to discuss this evening. This is a doctor. The newborn baby was declared dead. This doctor delivers the baby technically dead, but doctor says, no, there is a way out. I'm not giving up. Did everything possible just to bring back the baby and to revive the baby. Others would just have given up and say, Madam, we are sorry. We didn't get your baby. Sorry about that. Not this doctor. And I'm going to share another doctor who also later on. But so this evening, we're going to look at some important facts about attitude and how your attitude as a leader becomes an advantage and becomes power for resource for yourself and for the teams. We look at that leader's attitude, what attitude can do for you, what attitude can do for others, and we would also look at what attitude cannot do for you. So we're just going to learn this very lesson in a very short moment. Now, about 2-3 years ago during COVID, my dad, who then was maybe 85, 86, got COVID. And we all know he was in the danger zone. At 86, if you got COVID, I mean, even the strong men were not surviving it. But he was put in intensive care for almost a week. And when I took him to the hospital, there was a particular doctor that I encountered. And this doctor actually demonstrated, some really positive attitude. And when I went, I saw that several patients would gravitate to this doctor. And I didn't understand. Until one day, when I went, he was not there. And another doctor told me when I asked of my dad, and he said, oh, is our dad, the one who has a stroke? I said, no, he doesn't have a stroke. He says, well, when I look at the record and he check, I said, no, he doesn't have a stroke. All right. So I said, okay, I would like to go and see him. He was in the intensive care. Said, no, everybody said, all the nurses and doctors said, no, you can't see him. You can't go there. I mean, the places. So I go to see this doctor who was taking care of him before this other doctor came in. And I explained to him, they said, my dad has COVID. I mean, I just want to, he has, in addition to COVID, he has a stroke. And he says, well, yes, but, I found it, but I didn't want to alarm you, but I wanted to manage, the COVID. We know that we can manage the stroke once we put the COVID under control. At that time, everything is COVID. So I said, okay, I want to see him, but they say I can't. So, well, you truly want to see him? I said, yes, I want to see him. So he says, you go while the nurses. He says, okay, give him the protective gear, And that's there. You see me in the picture with my doctor there, and we went inside into the COVID intensive care where my dad was, and there were other people there. Now, maybe you will say I'm crazy. Maybe you will say the doctor was risking his life. But this is somebody who has seen how I was fighting to save this old man. And if it is just to protect, he was going, other nurses were going, they just have to wear their protective gear. So he said, no problem. If you want to go, wear the protective gear. And we did. And I went, I saw the old man and so on. And then, long story short, I can tell you, as we speak, the old man is still with us. Cross his 90th birthday and he's with us. What is the lesson I'm trying to pick here? The attitude of this doctor, the attitude of the doctor that we have seen, even my own attitude towards the situation. I could have given up this 90-year-old. In fact, when he was brought from my hometown, one doctor, when he asked me of his age and I told him his age, basically he said, oh, at this age, why are you worrying yourself? I'm just sharing all this because these behaviors are a manifestation of attitude, our attitude towards what you do. So what is an attitude? Attitude is the way you think and feel about someone or something. Go back to the stories I've just told you. Attitude is a feeling or a way of thinking that affects your behavior. Why would I just risk my life for the life of an 85, 6-year-old man? That behavior is coming from a place. Why would that doctor allow me to go with him into the intensive care protective zone? That behavior is coming from an attitude, is the way you are thinking. That would move you to take that action. So John C. Maxwell says, attitude is an inward feeling expressed by behavior. So the way you're behaving today is a result of the feeling within. And attitude is therefore basically the point of view that you have about yourself, about the world. In short, that is what it is. It is your point of view about yourself and about the world, how you see the world. It is the way you look at life and how you present yourself. That is your attitude. It impacts the way you present yourself. It impacts the way you build your career. It impacts the way you build relationship. It impacts the way you live your life. Your attitude. I remember when I was in the university and throughout, I mean, my parents are farmers and they've never known the color of my school since I left the village, went to junior secondary school to university. And they don't know the color of my schools. But in the university in particular, I was in a room with a mate, with a friend in a room. And this gentleman, every weekend, his parents will come and visit and buy him things. I mean, you know my story. Nobody visited me on campus. My parents never visited. I mean, how are they going to come to University of Ghana from that village? They didn't even know where it was. But every week, his parents will come. And if for some reason 1 week the parents didn't come to visit, this gentleman will be upset and down. Sometimes he doesn't want to even go for lectures. Why? Because the parents didn't come to visit. And I, whose parents have never visited, will be the one encouraging him and say, but your parents came last week. But no, they come and brought me here. And I say, but you are not learning for them. But that is it. Some of us think that we are living our life for others. It's just the perspective you see things. And that is what I want us to focus on, your attitude. The thing about attitude is that we always have a choice. Every day, we have a choice to choose a positive attitude or to choose a negative everything attitude. So regarding whatever is confronting us, the way we embrace the day, and this is Chuck Swindoll who says the remarkable thing is that we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we would embrace for that day. So when you wake up in the morning, you decide that I am going to be happy today or I am not going to be happy. You decide that, yes, my boss is very bad and wicked, but I will decide how I'm going to approach him. You can choose the victim attitude and feel down and downcast, or you can say, well, whatever he's doing, these difficult situations, I am learning through it. And I have enough stories of bosses who have terrorized my life, and I know how I approach that. Your attitude for the day is absolutely important. So let me share a few truths, facts about attitude that we we can quickly learn before we take out how attitude will help you and it will help others. As I've said, number one is that we have a choice to choose our attitude every day. That's the first thing. The second thing is that life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% of life is what happens inside you. Note the difference. 10% is what happens to you, and 90% what happens inside you. In other words, I think my internet is playing some games. In other words, your inner person determines how you deal with the outer world. So that's the second point. Number three, attitudes have power to lift up or to tear us. Depending upon how you see the world, you can bring people down or bring them up. It can lift your spirit up, or the same situation, the same facts. Depending on your attitude, you'll cry or you laugh. Number four, attitudes compound when exposed to others. It is very, very interesting. When you have a negative attitude, what happens is that everybody around you begins to catch that attitude. If you have a positive attitude, everybody around you begin to have that attitude. I remember when I was in corporate life, and even now, I mean, when people came to my office and saw my team, we were just a happy bunch of people. I would go to work, I'll buy kenke or whatever I would get I would order, and all of us, my team members, secretary, everybody, driver, we will all be eating, and we eat together, because that's how I grew up in my village. Or anyway, we ate from the same bowl. And so we lived like that. This attitude of, okay, you're a boss, there has to be a gap between you and the others, otherwise they will not respect you. It was not my thing. But apparently other departments were observing. And some people from other departments will come and admire me and my team and say, you people, what are you doing? You enjoy here. How was it? It was my attitude as the leader, which was compounding with my people around me. It's absolutely important for leaders to understand that attitude compounds. If you adopt a negative attitude, it is going to compound around you. So, Judge Matthew Adams says, what you think means more than anything else in your life, more than what you earn, more than where you live, more than your social position, and more than what anyone else may think about you. Very, very interesting and true fact. What you think means more than anything else in your life, more than what you earn, more than where you live, more than your social position, and more than what anyone else may think about you. Let me share this with you. There again, I go to EcoBank. When I joined EcoBank, we had a leader, a CEO, a fantastic leader called Arnold Ekpe. The head office of EcoBank was sitting on top of the EcoBank Togo building in the market somewhere. That place used to be a garage where traders, kept lots of goods and things like that. And the head office was somewhere there. And when we were on the top of the building, all the noise from the market, and you can see, and we're in a very little, small, pokey place. Arnold would tell us, people, we are in the business of banking. Do not think that you are in Lome and all these things you see around you is what is going to determine the type of bank we are going to do. I want you to think of EcoBank beyond Lome, where we are sitting here. I want you to see the other banks. Think as if you are in London. Think as if you are in New York. Think as if you are in Singapore. Because banking doesn't care where you are. And from here, we are going to build a bank that is equal to any other bank. That was the attitude. It didn't matter. The man had left Citibank. He's traveled all over the world. He's still living in Johannesburg, in London, in New York. And he came down to live in that little pokey city of Lome. And he decided that being in Lome is not what is going to determine the type of bank. And today, when people see EcoBank all over the place, 36 African countries, in Dubai, and I can tell the stories around this. This success was a result of an attitude, and a positive attitude like that from day one. And so I want to encourage you. It doesn't matter where you are, how much you are earning today. What matters is what you think. Again, attitudes are subjective. So identify a wrong one can be difficult. So whatever it is, you choose the attitude. So your behavior is a result of your own attitude. There's no objective test of attitude. And finally, rotten attitude left alone ruins everything. If you have a negative attitude and you just allow it to go on, it's going to compound and it's going to ruin everything around you. So those are some facts about attitude I just wanted to share so that we can put things in perspective. Dennis Watley says, the winner's edge is not in a gifted birth, a high IQ, or a talent. The winner's edge is all in the attitude, not the aptitude. Attitude is the criterion for success. I take that again. Dennis Watley. The winner's edge is not in a gifted birth, a high IQ, or a talent. The winner's edge is all in the attitude, not the aptitude. Attitude is the criterion for success. Now, if success is dependent on your birth and where you were born, some of us would not be here. Some of us would not be here because where we were born is far away. You check on the map, you may not even find it. Walking 7 kilometers to the nearest school, rain or shine, barefooted. That's how some of us were born. And we had to come to the city, to secondary school, to university, and compete with the dada bars of who started off in Achimota and Prempes and all those big names. But it didn't matter. I remember when I was young, even very young, when it rained, most people would not go to school because you had to walk in the rain to go to school 7 kilometers away. That was the nearest school. I started school at 7 because my mother thought I was too little. But I will cry, I will fight. My mother will say, but nobody is going to school, it's raining. In fact, sometimes the teachers will not come to school. But I will go. I would insist. My mother would say, okay, if you want to walk in the rain and go, go. I say, I will go. I mean, I didn't know what it is, but I just decided that maybe that is what is going to change everything. And indeed, one of the things my mother used to tell us when we go to school, he would tell you, go, look, study hard because, you know, your father, he doesn't have anything. When you go to school, whatever you learn, nobody is going to take it from your head. So go to school. But whatever your father has, when he dies, there's several children today. We're 15 children. You're going to share the little he has. But the knowledge you have in your head, nobody is going to take it from you. That illiterate mother, that's what he put in my head. And so I will go. So it's not about your childbirth. It's not where you are. It's not your IQ. I have been to school with some of the most intelligent people. And at the end of the day, how did they end? So I want to encourage you, don't look down upon yourself. So now let's look at some of the attitudes of leadership, the leadership attitudes that enable leaders to be successful. Some of the way leaders think. And sometimes you wonder, why are some people so successful as leaders? Number one, attitude of leaders is to disown your own helplessness. No leader is going to be successful where you feel helpless. So ask yourself, when was the last time that you pull out the victim card and use it? We know that Ghana is hard. We know that things are difficult in Africa. But do you know that there's so many people who are making it in Africa? There are so many people who are making it here in Ghana. Yes, the banking crisis came. So many people lost their jobs. Yes, men's gold happened. And so many other things have happened in this economy in the last few years. And yes, if you sat down and cried and went and said that, well, because of all these things, that's why I cannot do anything in this country, maybe you'll be understood. But no leader worth his salt will just settle for helplessness. Most leaders believe they can change the world no matter what. And that attitude is a leader's attitude. That's number one. Disown your own helplessness. Forget about that and take on. The second attitude of successful leaders is that leaders take the bull by the horn. Leaders don't just sit around and think about what is going to and waste all the time. No, there are big challenges. They take it by the horn. There's nothing brilliant nor outstanding about your own record except perhaps one thing. I do the things that I believe in. That's somebody's quote. I do the things that I believe in. And when I make up my mind to do it, I act. So when you want to do something, like Theodore Roosevelt, just do it. And this is an former American president who says that. There's nothing brilliant or outstanding about my record, except perhaps one thing. I do the things that I believe ought to be done. And when I make up my mind to do it, things, I act. That is what sets leaders apart. Okay, so what do you really want? What will it cost you? Are you willing to pay the price? And when should you start? Do it now, like the advert of Nike would say. Just do it. That is the attitude of leaders. They're not waiting for fair weather. They were waiting for everything to be done, to be okay before they start. And like I said, when I started Live to Lead and this leadership thing here, I mean, everything was against me, nothing. But I just started. Number three attitude of leaders is that they don't enter the whining zone. If you want to be a successful leader, do not enter the whining zone. Ask yourself, winners don't whine, and whiners don't win. If you're going to sit down and complain about what is going on here and the politicians and this and the economy and that and this and that, you're not going to make any progress in life. Leaders solve problems. They don't keep complaining. So how do you move from complaining to being thankful? Because in every situation you find yourself, you can either complain or you can be thankful. You can be grateful for even the most negative situation, because there's a silver lining in every situation you find yourself. The way to do that is to express gratitude for the things that happen to you. Express gratitude for the small and ordinary things. Express gratitude even in the difficulties. That is how you are going to be able to stop complaining. Just look for something and be grateful for it. If you keep being grateful, you will be more positive. That is the leader's attitude. Again, another attitude of leaders is to put on a new pair of shoes. Leaders, if that shoe doesn't fit, change it. I talked to you about one of my CEO, Anodepe, and he will start something, and then you go and try to persuade him. He'll say, no, this is the way to go. And the next morning, he's asking you to go to the opposite direction. I said, but yesterday we were talking, you said this is the way. He will tell you, it's only the food that doesn't change his mind. And indeed, it is only the food that doesn't change his mind. Because to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is the true definition of madness. So leaders do not just stick to one thing. They're looking at different options that will help. So do you have a clear picture of your perspective, the perspective of yourself and your people? If it's not, put on another lens. Another attitude of leaders is they nurture their passion. It is absolutely important that you are passionate about it. And when you see people who are being successful, farmers, mechanics, engineers who are leading things, they are very positive and passionate about the things they do. Ken Hemphill says that vision does not ignite growth. Passion does. Passion fuels vision, and vision is the focus of passion. So yes, vision is important, but it is passion that fuels that vision. So leaders who are successful are very passionate. That is the advantage they have. Again, another attitude of leaders is the attitude to exceed expectation. You ask them to go 1 mile, they'll go a second mile. That is the attitude that successful leaders adopt. Many of us who are not successful, they ask us to do something, and then we just do a little and we say, it's okay, but I've done enough. You've done enough, then you go and sleep. A little challenge, a little this, and you. No. Successful leaders focus on achieving the goal and achieving even more than the goal. All right. So that is the sixth point. The seventh point attitude of leaders is that they are never satisfied. You achieve one level and you want another. You achieve one level and you want another. You achieve one level and you want another. And that is what sets successful leaders apart from others. So those are some of the attitudes. And I want to encourage you to set yourself, let's say 30 days for yourself, and just decide that I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. Everything that occurs on your mental to-do list, just start doing it. Very soon, you'll be making a difference. So now that we know the leader's attitude, let us look at how this attitude becomes an advantage for the leader. All right. Number one, what your attitude can do for you. Number one is that attitude determines your approach to life. It makes a difference in the outcomes, which is success. So if you have a positive attitude, it's going to affect your success. Number two, attitude determines how you see challenges and problems. If you have a negative attitude, that's how you're going to see the world. The whole world will look like negative. It's just like the lens you wear. If you wear a dark lens, you see the whole world is dark. If you wear a green lens, the whole world will look green. If you wear a red lens, the whole world will look red. So your attitude determines how you see the world and problems. Attitude determines your relationship with people. Very, very important. There are a few principles that I've put there on the slides that they call the lens principle. Who you are determines how you see people. If you are negative, you see people negatively. There's also the pain principle. Hurting people hurt people and are easily hurt. When you are hurting within, every little thing hurts you and you keep hurting others. You're hurting within. So somebody even sees your nice dress and says, commend you for your dress, and you feel hurt. And you retort back, what do you mean by this is nice? There's the elevator principle also. People lift people up or bring them down. Your attitude will determine how you deal with people, whether you're going to bring them down or up. Attitude is important. The learning principle, each person you meet has something to teach you. These are principles that help to relate to people. And if you adopt this as your attitude, you are going to be able to change the people around you and change your life. All is well that begins with a great attitude, somebody has said. Now, how does positive attitude help others? Your positive attitude as a leader would empower the people around you. Your positive attitude will empower the team, because negative attitude disempower the team. All right? Because you're never giving excuses, the people around you also don't give excuse. Right? And there again, I mean, some of my positive attitude have come from Anodepe's attitude, where he says, we don't take no for an answer. When we had to build the bank across, go to countries and so on, he says, we don't take no for an answer. No excuses. So if you have that attitude, it would rub off on your people and they'll be empowered to go. It creates an environment of can-do. A positive attitude creates a can-do environment where people are expected to solve problems. That is what positive attitude helps you to do. When you have positive attitude, it models a whatever it takes attitude to the team, because your team knows that you will do everything. Again, it provides training that enables the team members to succeed. And a positive attitude challenges people to take responsibility. You see, when you have a positive attitude, make everyone feel valued and important, and that is where they are empowered. It gives solid feedback to the people in a positive way because you have a positive attitude, and it helps you to celebrate your people when they have succeeded in even the little things, and gives people increasingly the challenge to grow. So when you have a positive attitude, it can only be positive for the team and the people around you as a leader. Having said all that, let me say there are a few few things that no matter how positive your attitude is, they cannot solve for you. Your attitude cannot substitute for your competence. And I want you to underline that. Now, confidence is a function of attitude, but competence is a function of ability. Now, if you cannot climb that tree, as we used to do in the village, you can use all your mouth. You will not be able to climb it if you haven't learned to climb it. What that means is that you have to know how to do your job, because your attitude cannot substitute for that. Attitude cannot change facts around you. The economy is bad, it won't change. Our politicians, unless we find a way to change them, they would always be selfish. They won't change. So what will you do? You have to learn to develop your own ways of trying to take care of yourself and doing things for yourself. If you don't like something, just go ahead and change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. That's it. Okay? You can't change the facts, so you can only change the attitude. Attitude cannot substitute also for experience. It's sad that, sometimes we don't value experience. Attitude cannot also substitute for your personal growth. It's absolutely important that you develop yourself. And at CTL, that's why we've put this platform, so that you can learn and grow. Attitude cannot stay good automatically also. You have to nurse it. You have to be intentional. You have to choose your attitude every day you wake up. Because you cannot choose a happy attitude today and hope that that attitude will continue forever. No. So these are some of the things that attitude cannot do. Attitude cannot substitute for competence. Attitude cannot substitute for experience. Attitude doesn't change the facts. Attitude doesn't substitute for your personal growth. You have to take intentional responsibility to grow, and attitude will not stay same automatically. So having learned that, you know that you have to work every day on your attitude. So with those few words, I hope that you've seen how positive attitude can empower your team. We've looked at some definitions of attitude. We've looked at some of the attitudes that leaders take. We've looked at some key facts about attitudes that will help you. We've looked at how attitude can help you yourself and how attitude can empower your team. So as I bring my lesson to an end, I just want to share these few quotes with you. Acting is magical. Change your look and your attitude, and you can be anyone that is Alice with. You can be anyone you want if you can just change your attitude, change the way you look at yourself, the way you look at things. The other one that I want to share is that a positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it is the only option we have if we want to get out of problems. So it's not a solve all, but that's the only option. And finally, Samuel Smiles say, sow a thought and reap an act. Sow an act and reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. If you make positive attitude a habit, you would make positive attitude your character. And that positive attitude will determine the definition that you will go. So, Joy, that is my presentation. And I hope that members will take some lessons. We would take a short break, and then we'll come back and take your questions and your feedback from the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Get ready for a transformational experience at Live to Lead Ghana 2024. On October 4th, join Ghana's most influential leaders for a day that will renew your mind and change your life. John C. Maxwell will guide you on cultivating an abundance mindset. Kwame Pinim will reveal how visionary leadership can drive profound societal and organizational transformation. Self-leadership with Olympian Shantelo, be empowered by her story of resilience, to business growth strategies with Brandon Dorsing, and team dynamics with Malcolm Gladwell. You gain powerful insights to fuel your success. Don't miss Valerie Burton's energy renewal techniques and Akosia Bami's mindset revolution for deep personal and professional change. David Ofosudote, a reputable lawyer with the 5th largest law firm in Africa, will be speaking on transformation as a corporate strategy. Join us, transform your mindset and lead for change. Register now at livetoleadghana.com.
All right.
Hello.
We're back. We're
Yeah.
back. We're back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you,
My
Uncle Sam.
internet was breaking up. I hope.
Yes, we heard you. We heard everything that you shared. Very, very insightful
Yeah.
presentation on attitude. And I think for me, I love the dimensions to it. You know, what it does for you, what it does for others, and what it cannot do for you. Some of the things that I picked up as you're going through your presentation, and I love John's quotes. It just makes it very simple. An inward feeling expressed by behavior. That's what an attitude is. You also mentioned that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what happens in you. I mean, that's a very powerful one, so that we can own and take responsibility of our actions. And you also, there was I love the whining part. That's number 3. You said winners don't whine and whiners don't win. I mean, if you can keep whining, and I don't know what you actually get from it, honestly. And then you also said what you think means more than what you do, and what you see and what you know. What you think means more. And then one of the ending messages she said was that your attitude cannot substitute for competence. So guys, just share what you picked up. What was the nuggets that you picked up? There was so much amazing nuggets in there. I'm also going to bring Sarah Jessie on so that we can just get into some conversation. And please share your questions about leadership, your questions about attitude. I have one question for you, Uncle Sam. Before we take some comments, I see some people giving some powerful commendations. There are a lot of hand claps emojis coming in there. We do really appreciate you sharing your life, your experience together with this topic. My question, because I realized that self-awareness is a big part of attitude, because like you said, everybody's walking around with a different lens, the red lens, the green lens, and they see everything green. You try to explain something and they say no, absolutely not, it is green, it cannot be red. And I think that self-awareness, how does one develop that quality or that skill of constantly being aware of themselves, so that they can take cognizance of their attitude in any scenario? Because sometimes in a team, your people can be giving you cues that, I mean, boss is actually coming from your end, but if you're not self-aware, you cannot be able to see the true picture. So how can we develop that skill constantly or on a regular basis?
Yeah. No, that's thank you so much, Joy. That's a very important question you have asked there, because it is possible that you are wearing a lens and you're not aware that you're wearing a lens. You don't, a lot of the people who hurt others, they don't do so intentionally.
Yeah.
They don't do so intentionally. A lot of the hurts that go around is unintentional. It's because we haven't taken the time to be intentional and conscious of our own feelings and our own thoughts. And so it is important for a leader to be aware. And it's also important because you can also sometimes not know to have an open door for feedback. So if you don't allow for feedback, then that's where you are blind spotted. It's just like those of us who drive. And sometimes you're driving, you look right into the mirror, okay. And then just as you pull, then there's a car there. And you're asking yourself, but where from this car? I looked left, right, and there was no car there. And it's called blind spot.
Yeah.
And each of us have a blind spot. And the only way you can clarify the blind spot is to open for feedback and let people tell you and be intentional to know yourself and also to accept and be willing to learn. If you're not willing to learn and if you're not willing to change, then that's what happens. So you are absolutely right. Self-awareness is very, very important. In fact, it's one of the four fundamental qualities of a human being that God gave to us: self-awareness, imagination, conscience, willpower. Those are the four qualities that no other creature has. So if you lose self-awareness, it means you are losing your humanity. It's human. It's just like if
Yeah.
you lose your imagination, you're losing your humanity. You cannot be human and not be able to imagine and think.
Yeah.
Willpower. If you're not able to control yourself and decide to do what you want to do and others control you, then you're losing your humanity. The same way with conscience. If you're losing your conscience and you can just do anything without feeling that this is bad, then you're losing your humanity. So self-awareness is critically important for all leaders if they're going to be able to use positive attitude to address the challenges that they face.
Awesome.
And by the way, Joy, as
Before,
we talk about
yeah.
this is why the theme for this year is
Mm.
transformation at Live to Lead.
Had
And
lived to lead. Yeah.
I'm sure Sarah will share a bit about that, and you will probably share a bit about that. But we're talking about change minds, change lives,
Right.
and it's going to be really powerful. And if we've shared the information on some of the things, and Joy, you can share some of the topics and others that we're going to
Yeah.
share. And nobody wants to miss Live to Lead, no matter where you are. And whichever country you are in Africa, you can join because we have also a virtual part. You can wanted to throw that in.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to read a few of the comments coming through. I think Olivia started off when you were presenting, and she said the choice to make or unmake one's life within and about any kind of influence and the decision lies in our hands. I also want to Reverend Aiku was so mesmerized by your presentation. He says, awesome presentation. And thank you, sir, for always joining us for this session. Nalatili Lati also said, awesome presentation and God bless you. Excellent presentation, Dr. Fred. Greetings all the way from Gomoa. Thank you so much for connecting. I also see Edward Jr. said, God bless you, Uncle Sam. And then Faustina Sari is also sending some commendations. So I think let's take maybe Mariama also said, changing attitude is something positive. Changing attitude to something positive is a big deal, which everyone must fight to get up or to get up the positive mindset, whatever and wherever you are. Thank you, Mariam, for rehashing that point. Okay, Sarah, would you want me to ask? There are two questions in the chat. Should I take that first? Okay,
Yes,
all
please
right.
go ahead.
So
Yes.
Emmanuel goes ahead to ask a question and says, please, Uncle Sam, how do you practically change a negative feeling? Since attitude is about an inner feeling expressed through behavior, how can you change that? Practical steps. Maybe let me add the second one so that you can take both together. And Emmanuel, oh, okay, same Emmanuel. Emmanuel has a lot of questions. He said, I've been wondering how individuals, like, I think the question is not coming through properly,
It's like us.
can, like us, can
Yeah.
contribute financially to this program. Oh, Emmanuel, that's a very good question. I think Uncle Sam would touch on that. He thinks that how much he can appreciate this program by contributing financially. That's a very good one there. So Uncle Sam, that's for you. Two questions.
All right. Um, yeah, Emmanuel is the inside person. So it starts with our thoughts. Okay. Now, our thoughts are the seeds of our behaviors. So, what are the thoughts that you bring in? So, if you take charge of your thoughts and the information that you put into your head, your coconut, I say, okay, that is going to drive, because the way your mind works is like this: your eyes, your nose, all your senses are bringing you information. The information goes into your conscious mind, and the conscious mind transmits that into your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind begins to process the feelings into your body. So it starts with the information that goes. If you want to change because the conscious mind has power to decide what to take in and what not to take in. The subconscious mind doesn't check anything. The subconscious mind acts automatically. So let's take an example. If you see a snake, what will you do? If you open your room and you just saw a snake, you will just jump and shout. You may hit your head against something. Now, if it happens that what you saw to be a snake was actually not a snake, but your belt that has fallen and some light has thrown on it and it's on the floor, and it was just your belt, you will still have jumped because your subconscious mind have interpreted that belt as a snake. The subconscious mind doesn't tell you that take your time. No, 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 no. Because the subconscious mind has been programmed over years to believe that a snake is dangerous. So your attitude has been programmed over a long period of time. This is the way I sometimes illustrate it. If you have a glass of poison and you are supposed to pour out that poison without pouring it, you have a whole bucket of water. How can you get that poison out of the glass without touching the glass? One way is to be pouring clean, positive water into that poison over. Just pour it to dilute it until finally all the poisonous substance gets out of that cup. It's the same with your mind. If you have some negative attitudes that are hurting you, you have to inject a maximum dose of positivity. And that depends on what you are reading, what you are watching, what you're learning, and the things you're doing intentionally. So that's how you do it. In terms of um, how you can support this program, I mean, thank you so very much for the thoughts that you have. You know, the best way you can support this program: register for Live to Lead, register for Growth Journey, register for some of the programs that we are giving you. For me, it's a win-win situation, because when you register for those programs, that is what will give us the energy and the resources. Also, talk to your bosses, your companies. Let them invite us to come and share and teach leadership in your organizations, in your churches. That for us is the way that, because we've set this program out here just for as a free platform. And we thank you if you're thinking, but if you just register for the growth journey, the next cohort is starting in 2 weeks, or if you register for Live to Lead, that will be a big boost. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Emmanuel, for that thought.
Okay. Thank you for those great answers. Sarah Jessie, let me just bring the spotlight to you, and then you can take
Okay.
it from there.
Yeah, what wonderful presentation as usual, Sam. Thank you so much. And I just loved, I mean, everything that you said, but what really stood out for me is the lenses. For example, when Joy asked the question of how do you how do you maybe uh, are you able to change the blind spots that you have? And one of the lenses that you did talk about is the learning lens, right? The learning lens that you're learning from your people, as well as the perspective that you have to change your shoes, right? So
Mm,
if your team,
Mhm.
somebody in your team is seeing green and you are seeing red, change the shoes and wear the green shoes so that you can see whether stand in, understand them or stand in their feet, in their shoes
yeah.
for you to see what is happening. And that also is really the way that we can learn being in the shoes of other people. And
Yeah.
I love actually
Wonderful.
um, yeah, the last quotation that you gave, I wrote it down, and I just want to read it. I think it's powerful, saying, "Sow a thought, and you reap an act. Sow an act, and you reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap
Mm,
a destiny." That is so
yeah.
powerful. So it all begins with a thought. And fellow leaders on the call,
Absolutely.
yeah, fellow leaders on the call, Sam had a thought, just a thought to start this leadership platform and to bring Leave to Lead to us. It was just a thought. Now he acted, and now it has become a habit for CTL to be doing Leave to Lead every year. It has become our character at Leave to Lead. And now what we want to do is to bring it to another level for us to transform our thoughts, our minds, our lives so we can impact our destiny. It's not that I want to preach today, but I believe these are the steps that Sam is really putting into action. And that quote really summarizes the journey to where we are now. So I encourage all of you, buy a ticket
Yeah.
and join us at Leave to Lead, and your life will be transformed so we can impact our community, our teams, our nation, and the continent of Africa. Thank you. That's what I wanted to share.
Indeed. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. It's very important for us because we are actually cooking this meal for you. It's not for us, it's for you. And so we want you to come and enjoy this buffet. It's like taking one day out of 365 days in a year to say, I'm going to just sit down, relax, and listen to world class speakers change my life. And I can tell you, you will thank us after you attend Live to Lead. So don't postpone it anymore. If you even have to go and borrow the money to buy your ticket, do that because you can't compare the value of this growth. And I'll just talk about some of the few topics that we would be expecting to roll out. Our speakers will be touching on. So one of the powerful ones that's coming up, mentor John C. Maxwell talks about the abundance mindset. Sometimes we're looking at just one small thing. How are we all chasing one thing? He talks about how to think in the abundance mindset. So just come and listen to John Maxwell speak on that. And then one of my favorite speakers, Valerie Burton, she's going to be speaking about the energy gap. And I think that this is so important because we all have big dreams, we have big ambitions. I mean, some people, if I look at their vision boards or their 10-year plan, I mean, it's going to go through the roof. But the question is, do you have what it takes? Do you have the energy? Do you have the strength to actually get to your destination? So sometimes we get exhausted. Even there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about counting your cost before you start something. And sometimes we get in the middle of our vision and then, we don't have the energy to continue. So Valerie is going to talk about closing the energy gap, how to manage our time, how to manage our energy, how to say no to certain things, and then give us the space and the capacity to be able to achieve our goals. And for the corporate HR heads of organizations, CEOs on this call, I mean, you benefit from David Dote, who is, an icon in Ghana when we talk about corporate leadership. I mean, he's founded and led one of the fifth largest law firms in Ghana. He's going to be talking about transformation as a corporate strategy. I mean, how to take your company from, small thinking to global thinking, how to embed transformation into your people. So there are going to be some great thoughts. I mean, I don't want to spoil the show for you guys, but just be in the room. And we had the opportunity to just hear some nuggets from one of John's recent conferences. And one of the things I took away, and I'm not going to let go of that, he says, the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to be in the room. I mean, Chris Robinson talks about how he had to go and borrow money to be able to sign up for certification for John Maxwell. And every room he entered, I mean, we can come and tell you the nuggets afterwards. We can come and summarize what Live to Lead, everything we experience. We can come and tell you all about it on TLP, but it will not be the same as being in the room. I
My
mean,
internet.
I'm just going to encourage you again and again and again. Let's get into the room. Bring your team, bring your people. Let's get into the room. And it's going to be a charged atmosphere, exciting music, fun. You meet leaders from all different industries to network, sit over some lunch, share business ideas, have some, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So those are some of the topics. And then maybe the very last one. I know our time is running. Very last one. So Malcolm Gladwell, those of you who have read Outliers, Tipping Points, Moving Fast and Slow, a very profound author. He's also named as Time's 100 most influential people in the world. He's going to talk about the power of team composition, the dynamics that go into your team. So you end up creating a team and you keep asking yourself, why is the team not performing? You probably have a wrong mix. They can be all stars, but they are probably because they all have the same mindset. So these are some of the things you'll be touching on the group composition. So leaders, please, I think I've said enough, but I am so charged. I am excited about it. And so I want you to get excited about it. Please, you can reach us on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our YouTube. Just put it in the comments, interested, or send us an email at info@livetoleadghana.com, info@livetoleadghana.com. Tell us how many people you're bringing, 5, 10, 20, 30, and we will give you a call back. As simple as that. All right. So, Uncle Sam, I just want you to give your closing thoughts, and then we can wrap up the show for today.
Thank you so very much, Joy. When I talk about attitude and positive attitude, my whole life is, I've decided, I don't know how it came, but I see that attitude, positive attitude has helped me. I remember when I was 19 and my mother died, and I'm the firstborn. My mother's side we are 8. My father had other children, so altogether we are 15. And most of us lived with my mother. My father was always gone. Then my mother dies, and I'm the firstborn. How do you do it? Well, this was 1983. It was famine. There was chaos all over the place. But somehow, I'm the one who is just taking charge, going to the market, going to the farm, and trying to get everything. Some of my brothers got scattered, but I was still very sure that yes, that the situation was dark, the future is uncertain, but somehow I said, let's go for it. You don't give up. So I'm sharing this to encourage somebody who may probably your condition is terrible. I mean, when I joined the bank, I had a situation. Then you probably have a situation with a boss who doesn't agree with you much, and the situation is very bad. How do you handle it? You can choose your attitude. You don't choose the facts. I didn't choose when my mother died. I didn't choose my father to give me 15 children. I could have said that, yeah, he did, but I decided that each one of my children, I would take full responsibility for all of them. And today, they're doing their own things at different places. And when I look back, even when I got out of the village, I decided that everybody in the village who has passed and has to go to secondary school, I'll support. It's just a decision that I had to make that this would help. I could have said, okay, me too, I struggle because there was nobody ahead of me to support. So now that I've fought and gotten out, yeah, let me just stay in my corner. No. So your attitude as a leader has power. It has power to change you. It has power to change your world. And I don't have any pain. I don't have any problem. I don't have any bitterness. I live my life free. I just live my life as I am. No S, no whatever. Because I decide that that's how I want to live. I know all this, oh, you have to be this. And when you know, so I'm just sharing this for somebody and all of us who are leaders that your life can be very simple. It's up to you to decide. But if you want your life to be complicated, you can also have a complicated life. Choose a positive attitude over negative, and you have a simple life, and your impact will be significant. Choose the leader's attitude. Don't give in to helplessness. Don't give in to whining. Just take the bull by the horn. Just decide that I'm doing it now. And that also means deciding that I'm registering for Live to Lead now. And that will change your life. That will change the life of your teams. Thank you so much, Joy and Sarah, and to everybody. Good night.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Merci beaucoup, Uncle Sam. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Sarah, also for the comments. So, as we wrap up today's show, I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. I just want you to let's ponder on these three questions. What is your attitude towards yourself? What is your attitude towards small beginnings and small things, small projects? And what is your attitude towards Africa? I think that these are three things that I'm going to ponder on, and I think that you should ponder on as well. And I see the questions that are coming about Live to Lead, how to register. So we have a phone number and a WhatsApp line that you can just call. If you don't want to do the website, you don't want to do the email, just call us on +233. That's the Ghana code 556667718. +233 556667718, and the team will be able to help you to register for Live to Lead. All right. So we do appreciate you. And like you said, if you enjoyed this powerful presentation by Uncle Sam, this is what we do. This is what we do as CTL. We bring value to you. So you can always call us, contact us, and we'll bring this to your people in your organization, to your churches, to corporate training. And if you've also not experienced executive coaching one-on-one, now Uncle Sam is a professional certified coach, with ICF. He's still, he's been going to school trying to better himself, but we're offering this also as a service. You want to unlock new potential, please contact us and we'll be able to get you on a plan and a program for yourself. If you're also a corporate HR who's also looking for a long-term plan for your team, whether it's for the high posts, whether it's for high flyers, for the talent pool, we're also providing that for you. And then for your personal growth, we keep on touting this over and over again. Growth Journey is for you. We're starting the next cohort in the next 2 weeks. So please feel free to reach out to us and let's keep you on the schedule. On that note, I want to say another thank you to you for everybody who contributed in the chat, shared their comments, shared their questions and experience with us. Next week, we'll be having Leaders Are Readers, and we'll be reviewing the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So we hope to catch you again next week, and see you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Get ready for a transformational experience at Live to Lead Ghana 2024. On October 4th, join Ghana's most influential leaders for a day that will renew your mind and change your life. John C. Maxwell will guide you on cultivating an abundance mindset. Kwame Penim will reveal how visionary leadership can drive profound societal and organizational transformation. Self-leadership with Olympian Shantelo, be empowered by her story of resilience. To business growth strategies with Brandon Dorsing and team dynamics with Malcolm Gladwell. You gain powerful insights to fuel your success. Don't miss Valerie Burton's energy renewal techniques and Akosia Bami's mindset revolution for deep personal and professional change. David Ofosudote, a reputable lawyer with the 5th largest law firm in Africa, will be speaking on transformation as a corporate strategy. Join us, transform your mindset and lead for change. Register now at livetoleadghana.com.